The Adventist mission. You know, Adventists have a unique worldview. It includes the great controversy theme, the conflict between Christ and Satan over the character of God. And it's an important part of the Seventh-day Adventist elementary and higher educational school system. Our topic today, something better. You know, SDA church schools play a central role in our mission. How do SDA church schools compare academically? Some assume that they don't compare well because they're church-sponsored. But I'd like to refer you to this graph. You will notice that all students in this test graph show in yellow. This graph shows Adventist academic performance by grade as compared to all students. SDA students are represented in green. Notice in grade 3, SDA students tested better than the general school population. The same is true in grade 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It was a consistent thing from grade 3 through 8 that SDA students in SDA schools performed better on the achievement test. Christian Science Monitor said, for real education reform, take a cue from the Adventist. What are they talking about? They're referring to cognitive genesis. Are you familiar with cognitive genesis? It takes a look at the many schools, including our dedicated teachers. And a thought for our parents and our churches. Please stop and listen to your kids. Listen to their questions. Pay attention to their needs. So, how are our students doing? How do they compare? The study findings indicate that students in Adventist schools outperform, on average, the rest of the general student population. And it is a fact that education makes a difference. And may I add, Adventist education makes a greater difference. So 2 questions we might ask. How are our students doing in achievement and ability? And what factors may contribute to their achievement? How will we know the answers? A look quickly at the project design. A survey was done of students, parents, teachers, a school survey, national achievements tests were given to all schools, establishing the national norms, and then achievement tests in the Seventh-day Adventist schools, and a comparison was made of both. There were 900 schools in the United States, Canada, Bermuda, included in this study. 51,706 students in grade 3 through 9, plus grade 11. Parents of the students participating, teachers and principals at the participating schools, and 7,123 variables. The test results. Achievement of students in SDA schools is above the national average in all subjects for all grade levels, and above predicted achievement in all subjects for all grade levels, for all school sizes, regardless of the ability level of the individual student. In other words, there is something about the church school that helps our students to achieve even better than their ability would indicate. Increase in ability is greater than increase in achievement. In the book Education, page 17, Ellen White wrote, "It is the work of true education to train the youth to be thinkers," that's ability, "and not mere reflectors of other people's thoughts," achievement. What are the factors that are related to good achievement? What about school size? Small differences between smaller and larger schools in both achievement and ability. However, differences are consistently in favor of smaller schools. So just because a local school, church school, is smaller, doesn't mean it's not as good as a large school. In fact, consistently smaller schools tested better. Consider the number of years in an Adventist school and the effect that it has on achievement and ability. The blue line represents achievement, and the red line represents ability. Notice that students who were outside of the Seventh-day Adventist school system for 7 to 8 years are represented on the left side, and it's just a bit more than at the 50th percentile. The less years out of the school, notice what happens. We notice, let me back up, we notice that when they've been out of the SDA system less than 1 year, 0 years, their achievement has risen to almost 70% as compared to the normal average of the general population. So we make this observation. Increasing the number of years in the SDA schools increases both achievement and ability. Student factors. Students with higher achievement spend appropriate time after school in positive activities. Positive activities is not watching movies or playing video games. It's learning to play the piano, the violin, the guitar. It's learning to plant. It's mowing the lawn. It's doing things that are productive. Positive things. Students who do positive things after school achieve at a higher level. They have a positive spiritual outlook, and they have a healthy relationship with their parents, and they take care of their health. At the end, I will review a healthy relationship with parents and taking care of their health. Home parent factors, grades 6 through 8. Higher achievement is associated with good family communication, good involvement with the school, discipline in the home, high expectations, and spiritual harmonious home. School factors, grades 6 through 8. School factors, grades 6 through 8. Higher achievement is associated with a safe, nurturing school climate, says Dr. Alicia Kiddo, good academic climate, good support from pastors and members of the constituent churches. So we discover in the Cognitive Genesis Research Report. Teacher factors, grades 6 to 8. Higher achievement is associated with a teacher who uses progressive teaching methods, plan for professional development, interact with other educators, give students extra help, interact with students about personal issues. Is there an Adventist advantage? Modern secular education is failing because It has no moral, social, or intellectual center. In other words, it lacks eternal purpose. It is producing persons with no commitment and no point of view, but with plenty of marketable skills. There is no set of ideas or attitudes that permeates all parts of the curriculum, according to Postman Technoplay, page 185-186. The solution proposed by secular critics: the most important contribution schools can make to the education of our youth is to give them a sense of coherence, connection in their studies, a sense of purpose, of meaning, and interconnectedness in what they learn, so the pieces all fit together. That's exactly what we have in the Adventist Advantage, a harmonious development of spiritual, mental, and physical. There is an interconnected quality to the Adventist educational system. True education is the harmonious development of the mental, physical, and spiritual, wrote Ellen White. It includes a coherent, unified curriculum. The curriculum that unites everything and it works together. It has a hidden agenda of eternal values. It includes the Adventist biblical worldview. It includes service and support of communities. Sorry, got a little ahead of myself there. Predicting the future. Do you know the most important environments? Home, school, and church. As a kid, whenever we spouted something, our parents would say, "Where did you learn that?" And I can tell you it was either at church school or junior camp, church junior camp, or at camp meeting or at Sabbath school or church. Why? Because those were the places that we went. The most important environments that have an impact on our children: home, school, and church. In other words, tomorrow's reality is based on today's environment. For our children observe what's going on around them, and that's what they become like. For by beholding, we are become changed. Remaining an Adventist. Is that important to us? It's important to me because I believe in this Adventist message. I believe it's biblical. But I'm sad to point out there is a direct relationship between attending an SDA church school and remaining a church member. And I'm sad to point out that of those students who did not attend a Seventh-day Adventist church school, only 22% remained church members. That means 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 80 out of 100 students, 800 out of 1,000 students who did not attend an SDA church school did not remain a church member. 22%. That is sobering. In contrast, we see that the student that attends at least 3 years, 62% of them. I'm not happy with that statistic, but it's a vast improvement over the 22%. There is a direct relationship between attending an SDA church school and remaining a church member. A direct relationship. Denominational loyalty. For those students who attended no years, none, in the church school, 45% still counted themselves as Adventist. Those who attended at least 3 years, 88%, had denominational loyalty. Mature faith development, 35% had a mature faith, even though they had not attended a church school. But when they had attended at least 3 years, that statistic went up to 75%. So there is a direct relationship between attending an SDA church school and developing a mature faith. The importance of an SDA Adventist education. The Adventist classroom. After the home, the Adventist classroom is the most significant influence on the child. By instruction and example, the Adventist teacher reinforces essential religious values. Reinforces. That means that the home must have presented those essential religious values so that the school can reinforce them. Some feel like they have to choose between heaven or Harvard. And yet I would like to point out that 85% of students graduating from Seventh-day Adventist academies go on to college. And 80% of these students successfully complete college. So heaven or Harvard? Actually, it is both. In the book Education, page 30, Ellen White wrote, "In the highest sense, the work of education and the work of redemption are one." We want to redeem the world, lead them to Christ, get them to attend a church school so that they are hearing about Jesus constantly. Jesus said in Matthew 19:14, "Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for to such belongs the kingdom of heaven." There is an eternal advantage, and it is Christian education. When all is said and done, what really matters is my child, my Johnny, my Marie, is she there? Is he there in God's kingdom? Personally, for my children, I would invest in an SDA Christian education before owning a car or a television or any gadgets. It's that important. I was reflecting this morning, and I don't know, I think it's between 12 and 14 students that my wife and I are sponsoring to go to Christian schools at this time, because we are putting our money where our mouth is. So, I said I would mention family and health. Just briefly, let's look at the benefits of eating together. Eating together brings people together. So what do you think? Based on what we just learned, which of the following provides benefits to the family? Are these people, this family, are they together or just in the same room? They're together. Is this a beneficial family setting? Is this focusing on the family? Is this another family unit together? Is this a good family setting? What about an expanded family? Sharing food for some reason is a bonding experience. What do you think of this? A nurturing setting? All together around the banana leaf eating. So what are we discovering? What common quality makes each of these family settings beneficial? As compared to, is this building family values? How about this? Is this building family values? Or is this building family values? What about this? Building family values? The young guy, he's on his phone, playing a game. The girl is on her laptop. The other littler one is doing something else. Dad and Mom have the TV on. What common quality makes each of these family settings detrimental or damaging? Well, let's compare. Physically, who or what are we facing? On the left, they're facing one another. On the right, the television. Mentally, who or what is important to us? The people we're facing, the television. Emotionally, who or what has our attention? The family or the television? Physically, are we listening to family, or are we listening to the TV or some other gadget? Mentally, spiritually, are we sharing Bible values? Emotionally, are we building confidence? Physically, are we promoting healthy food choices? Mentally, are we strengthening vocabulary and general knowledge? Emotionally, are we promoting a sense of security? Spiritually, are we being intentional about improving confidence in the Bible? On the left, what are they doing? They're talking. Family values based on the Bible can be discussed. On the right, what are they doing? They're all quiet, just listening to whatever the television had to present. Are we establishing moral boundaries? Much greater chance when mom and dad are sharing them than watching TV, because the television establishes moral boundaries or the lack of them. Are we letting the family see us reading the Bible and praying? Spiritually, does each family member hear us pray for them by name often? Does the family see us take our problems to Jesus? Let me ask this. When our meal is over, is our family closer to Jesus or the world? Have we been drawn closer to each other and to Jesus during the meal, or have we been closer to the world? The television really is generally not leading us to Jesus. It reminds me of the text that Jesus offered, Matthew 24:37. As it was in the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of Man. How was it then? For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. So busy doing life, earning a living, getting ready for the wedding, having the marriage, all of it. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. When Jesus comes in the clouds of glory, those who have not been preparing for his coming will surely be destroyed, just as those who were outside of the ark were destroyed by the flood. Jesus cautions in verse 32, therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. So, health. Did you know that vegetarians eat plant-based foods? Yes, the best diet includes only fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. No meat, no fish. The best diet includes, according to the Bible. So what is your choice? Best diet? Second best? Third best? Fourth best? How are you leading your family? And what about exercise? Exercise is so important. And what about rest? Are you getting adequate rest? Do you know, families with good leadership eat together. They face each other while they're eating. They talk and they listen to each other and are intentional about physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual growth. They don't just hope that their family develops physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They are intentional about making that happen. Families with good leadership. So, what is your choice for your family? Will you shut off the television and sit at the table together? And then after the table is cleared and the dishes are washed and put away, will you shut off the TV and guide the students doing their homework age appropriately? I didn't say doing their homework for them. Be there as a resource. So let's turn our backs on old habits and choose the best so we will give our families every eternal advantage. Every eternal advantage. Oh, one more thing. Vegans die too. We just take the long route to the cemetery. To be clear, I am not expecting that everyone here will become a vegan vegetarian or even a vegetarian today. But I do want to challenge each one to choose something better. The key, growing from good to better to best. The old saying that I learned as a kid, good, better, best. Have no rest until good is better and better is best. Healthy eating, nurturing our families. So for the home, healthy eating, exercise, rest, nurturing the family. And for the school, the Adventist Church School Advantage. It is clearly an eternal advantage. What is your choice?